My name is Jorge Llorens, and this is a video about how to protest your real estate taxes. So if you're a homeowner like me, more than likely you have already received your tax assessment from the Central Appraisal District, and more than likely the value of your property has gone up significantly. You want to protest your taxes, and this is how to do it. The first thing that you want to do is want to go to the Central Appraisal District office. You go to the third floor, and on the left-hand side there's going to be a big office where you can file your notice of protest. That is the first step. After you file your notice of protest, you're not going to be given a date right away. A few days are going to go by. But eventually, you're going to be given notification by mail or phone or whatever it is that you choose. And from the time that you're given notice to the time of the hearing, 14 days are going to go by. During those days, that's when you want to do your due diligence and you want to prepare for the hearing. The first thing that you want to do is you want to gather visual evidence. Take video and take photographs of the house. Take all angles, all of the inside. Take special note of any deficiencies of the property. So for example, if you have a patio that is almost falling down, or if you have a bunch of dead trees or any number of things, that's something that you want to document. The way that I recommend that you do it is with your cell phone, take a bunch of photos and take a video walkthrough of the property. And then you put that evidence in a USB drive, which you will be able to take to your hearing. The next thing that you want to do is you want to gather estimates of any repairs that need to happen. So let me give you a perfect example. In my house, in the last winter during the freeze, one of my trees died, and it is a fairly large tree. I need to hire somebody to actually go and cut it down. And I already got a couple of quotes, and they're charging me about $1,000 to do this. So that is something that I will take to my own hearing. If, for example, you have peeling paint, or if you have any kind of deficiency that needs to be fixed, then get quotes for those repairs. What you can't do is you can't get quotes to do upgrades. So if, for example, you have carpet and you're getting a quote to put wood floors or put laminate floors, anything like that, that is not really something that you want to bring in because you're actually bringing the value up. You're not trying to remedy a deficiency. The other thing that you want to do is you want to reach out to a real estate agent or a realtor, and they can provide for you a comparative market analysis. And what that will do is it will pull sales data from the multiple listing service, and it will give you an opinion of value, or at the very least, it will give you data for you to play with. My recommendation is that you actually invite them to your house so that they can have a good idea of what the house looks like. You don't want to misrepresent your house, because during the review board, the Central Appraisal District will be ready and they will be able to cross-examine you. So make sure that whatever data you bring in, that is brought in by a realtor or a real estate agent, is accurate data. Just talk to them and tell them, listen, I'm thinking about protesting my taxes. What do you think my argument should be? Or you know the market. Do you think that my house is actually worth this much? And they should be able to give you an opinion. Alternatively, what you could do is you could hire an appraiser to go measure the house and actually issue you a formal appraisal report. An appraisal nowadays is going to run you between $400 and $600, and appraisers are pretty busy right now. So there is definitely a lagging time. Typically, you're going to be waiting about 2 to 3 weeks before they actually show up. So make sure that if you're going to go that route, you want to be hiring them right about now. The final thing that you want to do is you want to have the data that the Central Appraisal District has used to get their opinion of value of your house, because you want to compare your data against them. You do have the right to this data, but you have to go and ask for it. That is on the first floor of the Central Appraisal District. As soon as you walk in, on the left-hand side, there's going to be a room where you also file your exemptions. And the only thing that you have to do is you have to take to them your notice of protest and ask for the data. More than likely, they're not going to have it ready right away, but a couple of days later, they will have it, and they have to issue it to you before your hearing. One more thing that I forgot to say. You want to practice your presentation because you're going to have a limited amount of time to make your case. Practice, 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 so that the day that you show up, you're confident, you project confidence in your opinion, and you can make a convincing argument. In preparation for your hearing, you also want to bring multiple copies. On the day of the hearing, there's going to be 5 people in the room typically. There's going to be 3 impartial members. Those are citizens just like you and I. They act as the jury and the judge. And then you're going to have a member of the Central Appraisal District. They are the counter-argument to your own argument. So make sure that you bring physical copies for all of them to follow your presentation. I would bring at least 4 other copies, 3 for them, for the members of the Appraisal Review Board, and 1 for the member of the Central Appraisal District, so that when you're going through your presentation, all of them can be on the same page, and you can say, as you can see on page this is the data that I'm currently collecting, etc., etc. So now is the day of your hearing. And you go, and like I told you before, there's going to be 5 people in the room. There's going to be you, a member of the Central Appraisal District, and 3 members of the Appraisal Review Board. This is when you make your arguments. There will be a couple of procedural notions that they have to go through. They will make a couple of generic statements, and then at that point, you will be invited to present your case. You are there to present evidence in the most calm possible way. You want to be persuasive. You do not want to be confrontational. You want to be addressing the members of the board, and you want to tell the members of the board, I believe that my house is worth this much because of the evidence that I'm presenting here, here, and here. Let me go over it, and let me show you why I think that this is the case. After you have delivered your practice presentation, I cannot stress that enough, please practice it, then the member of the Central Appraisal District will have the chance to make their counter-argument. And at that point, you will know what their data is because you will have already asked for it. And they will make the point to the Central Appraisal, to the members of the Review Board, and they will say, well, we believe that the house should be valued at this much because this, this, and this. And there is some degree of back and forth. But remember, please be polite. Do not interrupt. You want to go back and forth, and you want to be persuasive, not combative. After everything has been said and done, at that point, you will have the chance to do a closing statement. This is not the time to go over your presentation all over again. This is to put the highlights or the main points and then thank them for their time. At that point, the member of the Central Appraisal District will have the right to do the last word. And after they make their closing statement, the review board will issue a judgment. And the judgment can only go 2 ways. They will say, we believe that the opinion of the Central Appraisal District is valid and the house is worth this much, or based on the evidence presented to us, we do believe that the Central Appraisal District has too high a price and it needs to be adjusted. So hopefully you will be able to challenge your taxes successfully. I hope that this video was helpful to you. If you like it, please give it a thumbs up and don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions. Much love to everybody, and Jorge out.